Alright, hello everyone and welcome to my review for Doom Eternal. As you can see, it's been about a month and a half since I beat Ultra Nightmare, and if you've come from seeing my tips and tricks guide, you'll know that I've played Doom Eternal for hours and hours, and I've played all the levels literally dozens of times. So I feel like I'm pretty well informed on what the game has to offer, and I can give it a fair rating. You know, unlike game journalists who will play it for 45 minutes and then give it a bad review because it has platforming. So in terms of things that I like everything about this game. If I was to spend the rest of this video talking about things that I liked, you know, we're looking at like an hour and a half, and I don't want to make that video and you don't want to watch that video, so we'll call it good. There's a couple of things I do want to talk about that are different from Doom 2016 that I liked, which we'll cover first, and then we'll talk about little things I would change here and there to make it better. So right away I'm going to give this game a 9.5 out of 10. And everything that it brought to the table, it did better than it did in the previous game. For example, I like the changes of the combat loop. I enjoy having to strategize a bit more. You know, when I see a certain type of demon, I change my gun to take care of that one, and then, you know, I'll see a different one, and, you know, stuff like that. I love the kind of intellectual strategy that they have going on. It's not too intellectual, but I like the idea of having to strategize as I go, as opposed to Doom 2016, where you could just go in with whatever gun you had and take care of the problem. Like, I literally could go through Doom 2016 with one gun, and in fact I've done that. I've beat the game with a pistol before. And of course you can't do that with this game. You know, you have to balance your ammo and then use the chainsaw to get more ammo at an opportune time. So I really appreciate the change to the gameplay loop. I also appreciate the emphasis on the story and the expansion of the Slayer's lore, basically. I think they did a good job handling it. I know some people it was a little bit weird, but I totally love it and I'm all for it. I'm excited to see what more they bring with the DLC. With all this being said, there are definitely things I would change, and some of them are just little things that I noticed as I was playing. For example, when I was doing my Ultra Nightmare run, I noticed that you can't switch between your grenade and your ice bomb during a glory kill, and I would have instances, you know, while I'm on Ultra Nightmare and doing a glory kill, and I can see these demons coming in, and I'm like, okay, I need to switch over to my ice bomb, toss it down, and then get out of there. And I would have to wait for the animation to be over, then switch it over, then shoot it, then go. And I think it would be cool, and it would be nice if I could, you know, just switch while I'm doing the animation. Obviously that's not like a game-changing thing, but it's something that I noticed. So the next two involve the chainsaw. There's definitely some changes I would make. Not in the sense of using it for ammo. I think that's perfect and they should keep it that way. But the chainsaw is kind of weird in the sense it's really only useful if you have one blip of fuel or if you have three. So it's like, you know, what's the purpose of having two little charges of fuel? So what I would do, and again, I'm not a game developer, so I would have to test this to see if this would work, but have another tier of demons. So like, you know, you have the fodder, which are just, you know, the one, basically just ammo pouches, and then you have another one that uses two, and then you have the big ones that use three. And I would mess around with that a little bit, but again, I'm not a game developer. That was just something that I thought of that could be implemented a little bit better. But the other thing with the chainsaw that I would change is being able to choose to do that instead of a glory kill for one charge on anything. So basically this is the way I envision it. There's a demon that I've wounded enough where I'm ready to do a glory kill on it, and instead of doing a glory kill I can choose to just chainsaw it for one blip of fuel. That way I can get ammo instead of health, and I can make that decision on the fly. Because I've had experiences where, you know, I'm at full health and full armor and I just do the glory kill to kill the demon, and then I realize, oh, I would really like some more rockets so I can take care of this mancubus. So I go and, you know, chainsaw something to get more rockets to take care of that certain enemy. And I would like to be able to make that choice on an enemy that I've already wounded to the point where I can just kill it with, you know, pressing one button. And I don't think that would be a game-breaking thing, but that's definitely something I would have to test for myself to see if that would work. But it was something that I was thinking about because I'm like, you know, it would keep the gameplay loop going a little bit more. Just in my personal opinion. Again, I would have to test it. But I think it would definitely be something to consider. The last thing I kind of wanted to talk about is probably the most blatant thing that I think needs a little bit of improvement, which is the battle mode. It's interesting because when you play the single player, you can tell that it's really well polished, but as soon as you go outside of the single player, you can tell it doesn't have quite as much polish on it, and that's kind of due to the fact that they had to build the battle mode from the ground up. So I'm not going to bash it too hard. You know, there's some visual glitches. I've seen some of the icons in the middle bottom of the screen flash and go weird sometimes in between my rounds, but it's not something I'm going to bash too hard. But I would love to see them add some more modes, because you know, after you play for a while, you've kind of seen it all when it comes to the battle mode. And there's definitely a little bit of a balancing issue, and I know they've done updates for it since then, and I haven't gone and looked and seen exactly what they changed. But early on, I played for 4 hours straight. This was during quarantine, so don't judge me too hard. Played for 4 hours, and I was playing as the Marauder. I didn't play the Slayer at all at that point, just because, you know, I was doing the story mode and playing the battle mode, so I didn't want to, you know, I wanted to try the demons. And I played the Marauder, and I won every time. I don't think I'm that good at the multiplayer, but I think they've altered some stuff on it, and I have played as the Slayer since that night. And, you know, I thought it was okay. I kind of got my head wrapped around exactly how to play as the Slayer, because I think it's a totally different beast of how you play in the single player. So there's definitely a little bit of tweaking there, and I think they're aware of that. But I would strongly encourage adding a couple of different modes, because you can get burned out on the battle mode pretty easy. You know, after you do it for, you know, a night, you're kind of like, okay, I've seen what there is. Because then it becomes this grind at the end where you've played so much, but you just want to get the experience points so you can get the cool in-game items for your character and stuff. It's easy for it to get boring after a while, and I think if they added extra modes, it would draw other players back to it. I know for me personally, if they had a bunch of extra modes, I would be more inclined to play those and come back for the battle mode experience. But beyond that, that's really all the critiques I have for the game, and those aren't really critiques. There's just a little stuff that, you know, could be worked on. I would say that this is my favorite first-person shooter. I've definitely spent the most time playing it compared to other first-person shooters lately. But again, like I said, it's a 9.5 out of 10. I'm excited to see what they do with the DLC. I don't know how that's going to work with Ultra Nightmare, if there's like a separate Ultra Nightmare I can do specifically for the DLC, or if I just have to continue my old Ultra Nightmare to do the DLC. So I don't know. We'll figure that out when we get there. If you guys want me to do like a challenge run or something, leave it in the comments below and I'll see if that's feasible. I was planning on doing a pistol run with this game, but you know, you don't have the pistol normally unless you have the PC version and figure out how to mod it in. But I definitely want to do more with this game because I really enjoy playing it, and I've done basically everything I've wanted to in the game right now. I don't have all the milestones just because my gun ones are all glitched out, and I didn't want to spend all the effort getting every single one of them just for it not to get that final one. If you haven't bought Doom Eternal already, you should. It's really fun. I should know. I've spent a lot of time playing it, and it's rewarding after you practice it for a while. It can be a little bit different if you come just immediately from playing Doom 2016. It's obviously going to be different, and you might not be used to it, but once you get used to it, it's fantastic. So I will be playing the DLC for the game. I'll be recording it here on Twitch and then uploading it on YouTube. So I encourage you to check out whichever platform works best for you. I appreciate all the support you guys have been giving me. You guys can reach me on my social media. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram is the best way to reach out to me, as well as leaving a comment below. I want to hear what you guys have to say about the game and whether or not you agree with my rating. But yeah, that's it for me. I'll see you guys in the next one.